Hi, welcome to the Gear Garage. My name is Zach, and this is my little show about whitewater things. In today's episode, we're going to talk about rowing a gear raft through Rainey Falls through the mid-chute at low water, specifically like 900, 950 CFS, for those of you that want to try that or maybe you might want to do it. And I'm doing this episode for two reasons. Some of you may want to row the rogue at low water and are curious about the mid-chute. But also there's just some general, just low water advice for gear boats, some things to look at. So we'll show some video and talk about that. And for those of you that are interested in Rainey Falls in particular, there's three lines. There's the main falls, the big drop. And I personally am not a big fan of running that drop. It goes, but it's kind of a crapshoot. Like you are going to get hurt some of the time. I don't know what percent of the time, but there's not a lot of skill that goes into it. It's quite a bit of luck. And so I don't like dropping it because I want to run rapids where my skill plays a factor. There's the mid-chute, which we're going to talk about today. And the mid-chute, generally, if you line up pretty well, it's pretty straightforward. You're probably not going to break anything. And then there's the far right, what they call the fish ladder. And I like the fish ladder a lot too. Like, it takes work, it takes effort, and you're probably, again, not going to get hurt or break something. So it's a pretty straightforward way to go. But a 900, 950 CFS, you just can't get you can get an 18-foot boat through there. It's just brutal. It's just very difficult to get rafts and big rafts through the fish ladder. So I'm going to show the mid-chute. So here we are. This is going to be the mid-chute, and let me roll some video. This first video is of a 14'6" wing Williamson. This is a nice boat. It's urethane, so it slips over rocks nicely. And it's kind of medium weighted. We have some dry bags in the front, dry bags in the back, and you see my friend Dougie up front. And when you're running the mid-chute, it's nice to have somebody with you. He has a paddle up there. He can do a small correction stroke, or if we get stuck, he can just jump out really quick, push. It's just a nice thing to have. What I'm trying to do here, you really can't get your oars in much. I'm trying to point my boat to the right a little bit, so I stay off that left side, to track to the right, and miss these entrance rocks that are a little bit tricky, and just get to the channel. And so you'll notice my oar gets stuck here for a second on the left. That wasn't good. But you really can't do much with the oars. So there's a little bit of luck involved here in just getting to here. And I actually kind of like getting stuck above the mid-chute, just so you can kind of take your time, think about things. If you go straight into it, you're maybe not quite prepared. And also to get the oars up, I slightly prefer to have my oars just up on the boat forward because it's just habit for me. But most people will throw their handles forward and have their blades back. And there's just two different ways to go. But either way, you want your oars pretty well secured so they don't break. A lot of oars can break here. And we're just taking our time. I had my friend Dougie just push us off. And at this point, the 14-foot boat fits nicely, and we're just along for the ride. There really isn't a whole lot we can do. He can maybe paddle something, but the channel's pretty defined. And you'll notice my oar popped out, and I was able to grab it so it didn't snap or anything. But pretty straightforward in like a 14'6" boat. This next one's a pretty heavily loaded 18-foot boat. Again, 950 CFS. And we actually entering this aren't sure we can get this boat through. We know we'll get it through eventually. We're not sure if this will take an hour or just 5 or 10 minutes. And my friend Emily's rowing. She's done this a bunch. And again, there's not a whole lot you can do in here, right? You're just basically doing your best with minimal ability with the oars to get to the channel, right? Because there's so many rocks here, you don't have a lot of use of the oars. So getting yourself stuck is a pretty normal thing. And I told her if we get stuck, I was going to write a couple notes down just to be funny. So I'm up there just sort of writing notes. And she's getting off to push. And this is, again, very normal. It's, even if you're an amazing rower, you may get stuck here because, again, there's some luck involved. And the oars are just kind of slapping on rocks here and there. And so you may get stuck in the entrance. Again, not a big deal because at these lower flows, there's not a chance to go downstream into the falls. If this was like 2,000 CFS or 3,000 and you got on the left here, you might go left down over the falls. But there's so many guard rocks, there's really only one way you're going, which is down the mid-chute. So I'm just going to slowly help. This is where the second person really helps. She can keep using the oars. I can get on a rock, push a little bit. And our goal now is just to get down there reasonably straight. And another goal is not to get hurt, right? I could somehow pull the boat in a way that it crushes my legs being in the water here. So I'm trying to take my time and pull the boat in a way where I can get free of it. There's no way it's going to run me over. So I'm being very thoughtful and considerate, or I'm not sure that's the right word, but conscious, very, very conscious of where the boat is and my personal safety. And Emily does a good job of bringing the bow over here, which is nice. But this is an 18-foot boat. This channel is maybe a foot and a half narrower than the boat. And so we're just going to take a second. It actually looked for a second like water's coming over the left tube, and the boat could flat wrap, where it basically wraps down. So I just made sure Emily was aware that's a possibility. We should need to be careful of that. And we're just going to kind of wiggle it around. We're talking. One key thing is we're doing this with some oomph. Like we're trying to get the boat down with some speed. We know people are waiting behind us, so we don't want to spend all day here. But we're also being thoughtful and considerate of doing this intelligently and safely. And so we're moving along. We're making this happen, but not so fast that we could get hurt. And I want to also point out, she took a moment to put both of her oars up on the boat, so the oars aren't flapping around sideways. That's an important consideration, because if the oars hit something, that's how they snap or they hurt somebody. And so you've noticed a few times Emily has been very thoughtful of placing her oars on the boat so that they don't, again, run into something. So we're just going to kind of push from different sides, take our time, jump up and down. But at this point, it's very apparent that this boat is not going to get shoved through this channel. Right? It's just not going to make it. Again, it's probably like 18 inches wider than the channel. And we could yard on it a bunch and keep sort of shoving it down, but it's pretty locked in place. So what I'm going to do is just let some air out. Just go to the front. It's nice to have the valves accessible on these boats. I'm just going to let some air out of the front tubes, and the boat slides nicely over the rock. And again, we're just there to hold on. We're trying to be conscious of the oars. They don't hit something and break or hurt somebody. And that's it. And as a passenger, it's nice to help your guide with the oars so they can get on and start rowing. So that's it for running Rainey Falls, the mid-chute at low water. Thanks for watching. If you have things to add, please add them. If I said something stupid or wrong, or you want to add some insight, please do. If you want to like, subscribe, do all those things too, I super appreciate it. And yep, see you in the next episode. Thanks.